Welcome one, welcome all, back again for another tier list video breaking down the best wide receivers for the upcoming 2024 NFL season. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. We're going to go through the categories and rank them one by one. Now, as far as I can see, just about all the best wide receivers on the list are here. But if there are any others that are missing and you think I should talk about them, let me know in the comments below and I can give you my individual ranking where they should be. But I don't think there are any big ones that are missing. I think they all look like to be here, at least the top two from every team, at least from all the best teams. Yeah, I don't see a lot of Panthers here because, the Panthers are going to be shit this year once again. But let's go through it top to bottom, and let's start with the categories. Best of the best, obviously the best. Great ones, these are just below. Then I put rookies before mid just because a lot of the best rookies in the draft could probably be the next future stars in the league. Then you have the mid ones, ones that will get you by, especially. So I'm gonna go through fantasy, try and do some fantasy rankings too in the meantime, and then we have the bad or just the bad situations. There's not too many receivers on here that would qualify as like really bad, but there are some definitely that I just would qualify as bad situation just because bad quarterback or whatever it may be. But let's start off with the Donnie Mitchell. I mean, this guy's definitely got a chip on his shoulder. I mean, I love what Chris Ballard, the GM, did for him and stood up for him. He looks to be like a good deep threat ball catcher, and with the arm that Anthony Richardson had, even though he's not the most accurate quarterback in the world, should be able to get it to Donnie Mitchell. I'd probably like him to be the second best wide receiver on the team. I think I still like Michael Pittman a little bit more. I don't know too much about Donnie Mitchell, to be honest. He just looks the part, and he could be one of the sneaky picks in your fantasy football draft. I don't know if I will be targeting him, but should circumstances pop up, you may or twist my leg into picking him. I don't know. Seems to be a good pick though. AJ Brown definitely going to be in the best of the best. He had a great year last year, despite the fact that the Eagles really fell off the cliff down the second year. Now, in terms of the Eagles this year, I think AJ Brown will still have another great year, another over 1,000 yards, probably 10, 15 touchdowns. And he's gonna be the number one target for Jalen Hurts. He just has been the whole time. They have great chemistry, and the offensive line may go down the hill just a little bit because you can't say that's not going to go down with the loss of Jason Kelce. I mean, he's just one of the best blockers we've seen in the last 10, 15 years. Their offensive line is going to take a hit, but I think he'll still be able to get his targets. He'll still be the number one receiving option for the Eagles. And he's still going to be top 10 in your fantasy draft for sure. Amari Cooper, a sneaky pick. I'm going to put him here. He's not the best of the best, but he's definitely in that second tier. He had a pretty good year last year considering all the different quarterbacks that were throwing to him. Now, if they can even get any kind of consistency at quarterback this year, it would be great. They're going to try and go through the run again once for all. If they can avoid having injuries again like they had last year, it's going to be a scary unit, and Amari Cooper is going to be a great beneficiary of many of the large targets. I see him definitely being above Jerry Jeudy, Watson. If Watson can come anywhere close to where he was in Houston, which I don't know if he can, I think what we saw in Watson is probably what we're going to see going forward. But if you can capture any of that magic that he had in Houston, Amari Cooper is going to benefit. He'll go over 1,000 yards this year again. I've never been too crazy about him in fantasy, even though he does great. I had him a couple years during his first 2 years, and he was great with the Raiders. He's just kind of he's good. He's hot one week, then he doesn't have anything. He's hot one week, then he's down another. He's very streaky. He's very up and down. He's not really the most consistent target guy in the NFL, but he has great hands, and he can run just about any route, and he's going to be great probably in the mid-round picks, I would go for him. But going to be a good option, just not one of the best wide receivers in the league. But in that second tier, I'd say. Amon-Ra St. Brown. We'll put him up in the best. And the best he can, again, another guy that can run any route. He is easily the favorite target of Jared Goff, and he's going to go over 1,000 again. He just got paid, so he's really going to have to show it this year. I don't think he's a really big injury risk, so I don't think you have to worry about that. Lower end of the top 10 for wide receivers, I'd say. Maybe just out of the top 10, but he's the big man on campus now in Detroit, and he's going to get all the targets, going to get all the opportunities possible. The Lions are looking for a Super Bowl run this year, even though, if you ask me, I think the Packers have a better shot, but he's still going to be a good option. Draft him with no second guesses. No second guesses. Take him and be comfortable with him being your number one option. I have no problems with him being your first wide receiver off the draft if you wait. I don't think he's going to be one of the first 5 off the draft board, but if you're waiting for and you're building up on good running backs while you can and a quarterback, and then Amon-Ra St. Brown is your first wide receiver option, I wouldn't feel bad at all about it. I feel very comfortable about it. And then we have Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks is mid. I mean, he still has some good games here and there. We know Dak is going to have many yards, many touchdowns, and he's going to be the beneficiary of some of them. He's a decent third, fourth wide receiver option. I mean, if I was starting him every week, I probably wouldn't feel the most comfortable about that. I mean, he's been very successful throughout his career, and he's going to continue getting targets. He's going to continue to get open. I really do like him as a mid to late round wide receiver pick if he's still there. I wouldn't draft him right away. Mind you, there's plenty of other options for him, he's never had the most luck with him in fantasy football, to be honest. But he's still a good option, probably in the 20 to 30 range, maybe a little lower than that, but it's not a bad option to have, but not your top flight option by any means. Brandon Ayuk, again, another guy you can confidently pick and feel comfortable about being a first or second option. Again, he's another guy that I don't necessarily love. I more so usually would go for Debo, but I mean, last year he showed like he was a top dog in San Francisco because Debo was injured a lot, and when Debo was injured, this guy took the ball and ran with it, and he was the big target. He's a big body, has great hands, can get wide open just about any route, and he's got Purdy throwing to him. Purdy's a great quarterback, and he's going to be a target for the 49ers for years to come. Don't believe the fluff in the media. I don't see him going anywhere. Besides, if the 49ers were to truly trade for him, they'd be getting a lot in return. I mean, he really is truly deserving of a lot of draft compensation if he were to be traded. I just don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. But he's going to be a receiving option for 49ers for years to come. Maybe, just maybe, we'll win a Super Bowl ring with him. But I think we'll want to pump the brakes on that one because they just haven't gotten over the top just yet. Brian Thomas, again, another guy I don't know a lot about him. He's a big-bodied guy too. While he may not be as good as Malik Neighbors, I think he definitely received a lot of attention at LSU. He's going to be a big option for Trevor Lawrence. Honestly, I like him to possibly be the number one option. I think he'll be more durable long-term than Christian Kirk or Evan Engram or anybody else they have there. I think he is a great chance to be a number one option for Trevor Lawrence for years to come. And now that Lawrence got paid, now this is the year. This is the year for the Jaguars to finally show all the promise they've had for a while now. They finally have a great new wide receiver. Kirk is still good, and he's got to do better than Calvin Ridley last year because Calvin Ridley started off so hot and then fell off. This guy, he's going to have a big year. I think he will. I think he probably eclipses 1,000, probably has 5 to 10 touchdowns anywhere around there, but I think he definitely has a chance to have even more of an impact on the Jaguars as long as Trevor Lawrence can keep his head on his shoulders and not turn the ball over. Brian Thomas is going to be a great option. Probably 15 to 20 wide receiver. I would rank him as, actually, no, 20 to 25. I'd rank him in that range. He's still a great option, though. Still a rookie, so he's completely unproven, but I think he has some big upside this year. Calvin Ridley. Again, another mid wide receiver. After last year and him being like so highly touted, like, oh, he's going to have such a big year for Jacksonville, and then he didn't. He really didn't. Now, yes, he got paid, but he's going to Tennessee. And Will Levis, while he showed promise last year, I don't really feel comfortable about him as a quarterback on a week-to-week basis. Calvin Ridley as wide receiving option. He's going to be lower than DeAndre Hopkins, in my opinion. He could even be lower than Treylon Burks. But you're going to have 3 receiving options in Tennessee, and he's not going to be the number 1 target. So probably mid-20s is a good spot for him. Some people are probably going to have him in the 10 to 15. I just think that's a little high. Maybe top wide receiver ranking so far would be 15 to 20. But in my opinion, I think he's in the between 20 and 30, around there. He's not a bad option, but if he's your number 1 option, boy, your team is not doing well. Your team is not doing well if he's your number 1 option for most of the year. He's probably a 3rd, 4th wide receiver at best, but he does have upside. Just a matter of if he's going to receive a lion's share of the targets, which I just don't think he's going to. It's going to be DeAndre Hopkins, and maybe Treylon Burks might be above him too. But he does have upside. Just he's a little better than bad situation, but last year was supposed to be his upside. I can't help but feel how much he lost being off the field for 2 years. I think that suspension really hurt him in the long run. CeeDee Lamb. We're going to put him right here. He's definitely one of the top 5 wide receivers in the league. He's still going to be a great option. I had him last year, and it was great for most of the season. He's Dak's favorite target. Obviously, he's going to eclipse 1,000 yards, probably be over 1,400, maybe even 1,500 yards. Probably 12 to 15 touchdowns I'd be very easily to say. He can run any route. He's a big-bodied. He's one of the best speedy wide receivers in the league. He's one of the speediest wide receivers in the league for sure. Again, another guy you can feel comfortable in drafting right away and feel confident in him being your number 1 option throughout the year. Again, for him and his team, it's just a matter of postseason success, but he's still going to have all the regular season stats in the world. It's just a matter of if his team is going to get over the hump and finally advance to the NFC Championship game, which they just haven't done in 30 years. But definitely top flight option for sure. I'd probably put him number 5 overall when it's all said and done. Next, we have Chris Godwin. Again, another good option. Well, I think we'll put him above Amari. As we saw with Baker last year, he was a great option, a great second option to Mike Evans. Mike Evans received a lion's share again. He was dealing with injury issues for a large part of the season, but when he came back, he was just as good as he was before his injury. So he is definitely an injury risk for sure. Between 15 and 20, I would rank him. Again, a 2nd, 3rd option. Again, he's another one of those guy you don't want as your number 1 option for most of the year. That's not good because he's not the number 1 option on his own team. But 2nd, 3rd wide receiver, good. Definitely feel confident starting him every week for sure. It's just a matter of if he's your number 1 option, you don't want that. But again, he's going to be a great option nonetheless. And as long as Baker's there, he's going to continue to benefit from it. Actually, to be honest, you could have any quarterback in there, and I think he would still do pretty well. He's really has a great ability. Chris Olave. I like him to really blow up this year. kind of did last year. Again, he's kind of a head case at times, so that's not the best, but he's going to be Derek Carr's favorite option. We know he can go deep. We know he can catch just about everything. He just makes it all look so easy. Please don't be an idiot this year and get suspended for doing stupid stuff. But again, he's going to be between 10 and 15 wide receiver overall. Probably a second option. I wouldn't want him as my number one option. I'd probably want to get one of the guys in the tier above him, but he's going to be good nonetheless. Again, can the Saints have a sustainable offense from week to week? That's the big concern, because for as good as he was last year, he was another guy that was up and down just because the offense was up and down all year. You never knew what you were going to get, but he's still going to be a great option regardless. Christian Kirk. I've never really liked Christian Kirk, to be honest. I think I put him above Brandon Cooks, but he's pretty mid in my opinion. Second option probably to Brian Thomas, but he was Trevor Lawrence's favorite option last year. Just injury risks for sure. Gonna benefit again if Trevor Lawrence breaks out, which he's bound to, right? Trevor Lawrence is going to break out eventually, right? He's going to show that he can be a top 10 quarterback in the league and fantasy, but he hasn't done it yet. That remains to be seen, but Christian Kirk should still be a good option. Second, third option for sure. Again, not your top flight wide receiver by any means. If that's the case, you don't want that, but as a starter every week, yeah, I'd feel comfortable doing that. It's just a matter of can the Jaguars be consistent? They haven't been able to do so. Christian Watson. He's a great option too. Apparently, his hamstring issues are fixed, and that he should not be an injury risk this year. I think he'll always be an injury risk just because of his past, but I think this is the year where he finally breaks out. I mean, look what he did last year, missing the games he did. He was great. In the weeks he was playing well, he was really well. He was definitely one of the top flight options in the league. Again, probably a second option. Again, I wouldn't feel great him being number one, but 10, 15 quarterback or wide receiver overall, I think is a good spot for him. Maybe 15 to 20, all said and done. But I would think he's going to be Packers' number one option this year, but I'm not sure because there's a couple other guys on here that, I noticed that Romeo Doubs is not in this list, so that's kind of an oversight, but he's still going to be good. Again, if he can stay healthy for a full year, the Packers will benefit for sure. Probably, if he stays healthy, will easily eclipse 1,000 and have probably 10 touchdowns. He's just a great deep threat option, and he makes every catch look easy to make. Cooper Kupp. I'm going to put him back up in the best of the best here. He's going to reclaim what he had a couple years ago, as long as he can stay healthy. Again, a lot of the guys on this list, as long as they can stay healthy, they can show that they have the promise to do whatever they want. Matthew Stafford's still there. As long as he stays healthy, he'll be fine. He'll still be number one option there in LA. He's looking to have another good year. I think he gets close to 1,400, 1,500, maybe even 1,600 if everything hands right. He's had a lower tier the last couple years after his injury, but I think he reclaims what he had a couple years ago. I don't think he ever gets close to close to 2,000 yards or 1,900 yards ever again, but he's going to be a great target guy, great PPR wide receiver for sure. Number one option, yeah, I would feel comfortable having him as my number one option on a week-to-week basis. He's going to be out there. He's going to do good, and draft him with confidence for sure. Courtland Sutton, again, another mid option for me. We'll put him right here. Again, I just don't think Denver's going to have a great year. Jarrett Stidham isn't a great quarterback. I think he frankly sucks, but I don't think they want to just throw Bo Nix out there. I think Bo Nix needs a little seasoning, to be honest. But Courtland Sutton's going to be a number one option, great deep threat. As long as he can, again, another guy that he needs to stay healthy, but he's a great target regardless. It's just, I think the number of targets is going to be down just because the quarterback play has not been good. It's going to go down from what it was last year. And even last year it wasn't all that great, but should be good nonetheless. All right, sorry about that. Where was I? Cortland Sutton will still be a good option. Just probably the 20 to 25 range. Again, not a top flight wide receiver option for any means, but still be good nonetheless. Curtis Samuel, I think he's going to be a really sneaky option. I think he's a great pickup for the Bills. Great, speedy wide receiver, can act as a running back, can roll to the flat. It's not going to be the number one option, but a deep threat option for sure because he has the wheels to get there for sure. Again, he's had injury concerns in the past, but I like him to be a great deep threat for the Bills this year. Josh Allen is going to use him as one of his favorite targets, a number 2 wide receiver for sure. 15 and 20, I would think would be a good spot for him. But man, I think he's one of those sneaky options that when pundits talk about him being a really good pickup for the Bills, I really do believe that. I really think he's going to be a great option. I think he could eclipse 1,000 yards this year. Have some running yards as well. A good PPR option for sure. Great amount of targets he's going to get. And Bills are going to go somewhere this year. Don't think they win at all, but I think they still hold on to number 1 in the AFC East. Mark it down. Bills win the AFC East. Go into that further when I break down the divisions one by one in the next couple weeks. Davante Adams again. He's going to be a great option. He's right up there. And we'll put him below Cooper. Just because of the quarterback play. He's still going to be a good option. Man. He is one of the best wide receivers in the league, but again, the quarterback play for the Raiders isn't going to be that great. I think Aiden O'Connell will have a better year than he did last year, for sure. I think the Raiders are probably in a transitory station for their team. Probably looking at a quarterback next year if things don't work out. And who knows, Davante could be gone midway through the season. I don't know how likely that is, but I've heard reports that he's not the most happy in Las Vegas, and I wouldn't be either. But again, he can still run any route. He can still get open with the best of them. Probably top 10 selection if he's your number 1 option. I wouldn't feel too terrible, but again, with the quarterback play that the Raiders could expect this year, it might not be the best option, but if you can get him, I would feel pretty comfortable starting him on a week-to-week basis. He doesn't have a lot of really big injury risks for me, so still going to be a top 10 wide receiver regardless. DeAndre Hopkins, he's going to be a good option. Again, the quarterback play will greatly depend on how good he is, but he's going to be the number 1 option for Will Levis. I can say with fair confidence that it's going to be so. He's going to get open, and it's just a matter of, again, like the Raiders, the Tennessee situation is going to depend on quarterback play and offensive line play for that matter. Because if the offensive line doesn't get better than it was last year, oh boy, he's not going to have as many targets as you would think, just because Will Levis is going to get sacked a lot. But as long as they improve, which I think they will, I think the offensive line will improve this year. It'll give Hopkins a lot more time to get open. Even though he is aging for sure, he's still not a bad mid-tier second wide receiver option. Debo. Put him right here. Again, he's kind of an injury risk at times. He's still got the running ability, although, to be honest, it has greatly decreased with the incoming of McCaffrey. McCaffrey's still the best rushing option they have, and you saw that Debo's rushing attempts really faded down the line last year. Really didn't have a lot, and it was mainly used as a wide receiver, which I think he said he prefers to be that. I think he said he didn't want to be a running option all the time, which might be good for him. But again, his injury history is a concern for sure. Whether he's the number 1, I think he's like a 1A, 1B option with Brandon Ayuk. I think they're both number one options, probably in the 10 to 15 range, I would say. I mean, his second option, great. As your first option, I would think of trying to get other wide receivers as well, but not a bad option, to say the least. Just some injury concerns. Always been there. Devontae Smith. Good, not great option. Again, he went over 1,000 yards. He just got paid, but A.J. Brown is still king, and as far as I'm concerned. But he's still going to get his options. He's still going to be the number 2 option for the Eagles. Still going to be out there nonetheless. Not too big of an injury concern. 10 to 15 range for him. Yeah, right around there. He's going to be a good option regardless. Just never been the biggest fan of Devontae Smith. He just seems too streaky for my taste. Deontay Johnson, boy, what a fall from grace. He's still a great option, still great wide receiver, but going to Carolina to play with Bryce Young is definitely a downturn for him. I think in terms of fantasy, it might still be a decent option as a third, fourth wide receiver, but man, like I said in my quarterback video, the Panthers are going to go as far as Bryce Young takes them. And it's not going to be very far. I think they're going to be a little bit better. I think Xavier Legette out there will help stretch the field along with guy from Minnesota. Can't remember his name all of a sudden. But Deontay Johnson should be a good second option out there. I don't know. Probably be the number 1 wide receiver there in Carolina. But again, I would, in terms of fantasy, I'll put third, fourth wide receiver at best because of the team situation he's in. I just don't like his situation at all. DJ Moore. Yeah, put him right here. He was great last year. Now, again, it's all going to be dependent on Caleb Williams because, as I mentioned in my quarterback video, I don't like Caleb Williams. I just don't. I don't think he's bad. I think he is a good quarterback. It's just he'd never won anything in college. And people are expecting him to be like this great quarterback out of the bat. When has it ever worked for the Bears? I mean, DJ Moore is still going to get his targets. He's still going to go over 1,000 yards. I'm fairly certain about that, but man, I don't like their quarterback situation at all. And people can say I'm a hater, I'm a Packer fan. I'm just being honest. The Bears don't. I think the Bears are being hyped up way too much, and they're set up to burn like they always do every year. DJ Moore is going to be a great option, but it all depends on quarterback play for them. And let's talk about Rome Odunze while we're at it too. Same thing. I don't know if he's going to eclipse 1,000 yards. I think probably 800 to 900 and 5-7 touchdowns is good. It's going to be, no, we're not going to put him, we're going to put him probably as the best rookie or wide receiver option behind Marvin Harrison, but man, again, he's going to go as far as Caleb Williams takes him. So I'm not really sure about any of the Bears wide receivers. They should still be good. I'm going to just abstain from drafting them, at least in my opinion. DK Metcalf, again, should have a decent year. Let's see, we'll put him right here. I think that's a good spot for him. He's still a great big body wide receiver. He's still fucking head case, so that's always a problem. He hasn't had the greatest years since a couple years ago. Geno's not the best option, but he shows he can work within the system and target everybody out there. JSN, Lockett, and will all get their targets. We'll throw in JSN, I think, is going to be right here. Lockett, where's Lockett? Lockett is going to be right around here. I think all 3 Seahawks options should be close to 1,000 yards this year. They should all have around No, probably around 7 to 10 touchdowns, I would think. I think Geno could go over 30 touchdowns this year for sure, provided that offensive line continues to improve, which I think it will. I think the Seahawks are a sneaky pick this year, but I still think they're going to end up like second or third, because they are in a tough division. Other than the Cardinals, they are in a tough division to say the least, and their defense will be better, and I think they will all get their fair share of targets. I'm just never been the biggest fan of JSN. Tyler Lockett's always been streaky for me in fantasy football. Have had great success with DK in the past. I think they're all in the great tier for sure. Mid rounds for sure. I wouldn't want any of them as my number one option, but they're all going to be in the mid tier of your draft, for at least in terms of wide receivers. Dontavian Wicks. We're going to put him right around. I think we're going to put him above JSN. I think we're going to put Devontae above DeAndre Hopkins. We're going to put Devontae Smith above her Samuel too. But Dontavian Wicks may be the best route runner for the Packers right now. It's just a matter, there's going to be so many mouths to feed for Jordan Love. I think they'll all get their targets. It's just a matter of, he's going to be a second, third option for me. Not going to be a number one option because I don't think he's going to get close to 1,200 to 1,300 yards. He's just going to be a reliable receiver in the middle, running just about any route you can ask him for, because he can just run any route for sure. He's one of the best route runners in the league. Underrated player for sure. Probably get close to 1,000. Probably 70 touchdowns, I feel fairly certain about. He's just a great option for the Packers. Maybe not a number one, but he's up there for sure. Drake London, I never know how to... maybe we'll put him right here. I think he's going to be a great option again. It's just, I never know what the Falcons are going to do. Every year the Falcons are projected to be this great team, and then they always go middle of the road every year. It does not fail. I think with the addition of Kirk Cousins, he'll have a great upside for the future and could be one of his favorite targets for sure. I think he's probably the number one option in Atlanta. He's going to eclipse 1,000, probably 1,100, 1,200 yards. Touchdowns probably go over 10. He's going to be a great option nonetheless. It's just a matter of, can Kirk Cousins rebound from his injury and avoid tearing his other Achilles, which I think is a definite possibility. It's just, he's an old quarterback. He always had great regular season statistics, just not great playoff statistics. But I think Drake London, this is the year where he really finally arrives and goes over 1,000 comfortably and has really good gaudy touchdown stats as well. Garrett Wilson. Put him right here. If Rodgers can recover from his injury from last year, he should be a good option. It's going to ride or die with Rodgers. Even if Rodgers gets injured again, he should still eclipse 1,000 yards. I just never been the biggest fan of Garrett Wilson. He just doesn't seem to be targeted as much as he should. He should have like over close to 100 yards every week, but he doesn't always do that. If Rodgers can reclaim what that form he had like 3-4 years ago, he has a great shot to be a great wide receiver. But it's just, he goes as far as the quarterback play takes him. George Pickens, again, a good middle round option. I just don't like all the fluff about Wilson and Fields. I don't think Fields is a great quarterback. I don't think Russell Wilson is a good quarterback anymore. He's still going to be a great deep threat option, but I mean, he's got to do better than he did last year because the quarterback play should be better, but how much better? Offensive line will be better, so he'll be able to get open more. He just needs to not be a head case. He just needs to play football and not say stupid shit and, play out his routes. Stop being a prima donna, because he has that potential, but he's such sky-high potential with his athletic abilities. He should be close to 1,500 yards every year. He should be up here as the best of the best, but he hasn't clipped that yet. Maybe this year with Russell Wilson he can get there, but I'm not so sure. So that's why he's going to be in the mid 20s to 30s for me, or between 20 and 30 for me. I don't feel too comfortable with him. Probably a third, fourth option. I'm not the biggest fan. Jahan Dotson is a similar thing. I think he does have great potential. He's not the best route runner in the world, but he can get open for sure. Again, it will depend on how far the quarterback play gets him. I think I had Jaden Daniels in the middle rounds, or the mid tier of quarterbacks. He's a rookie with untapped potential, and this could be I don't know what's going to happen this year for the Commies. I wish the Commies would just go back to the Redskins, because I'm sick of calling them Commies, even though it totally fits for the Washington, D.C. But Jahan Dotson, third, fourth option. Draft him comfortably, but again, I don't know how far it gets you. Jamar Chase. Fine, we have another top option. I think we'll put Jamar Chase above A.J. Brown. I think he's going to have a bit huge year with Burrow back, and if Burrow can stay healthy this year, Jamar Chase should be up near the top for Offensive Player of the Year statistics. I like him to eclipse 1,400 yards. I like him to eclipse 10 to 12 touchdowns, maybe 14 to 15. We know he can do it all. I think T. Higgins will be the same. T. Higgins is basically playing for a contract to play for another team. I think he's going to be right around here. Not the best of the best, but he is in for a big year as well. I think the whole receiving core for the Bengals is in for a big year. Burrow's going to come back with a vengeance. He's going to come out swinging. He's going to come out early, and he's going to have a great year for sure. I like both Bengals wide receivers. Jamar Chase definitely is the number one option. I probably, like I said, top 5 for sure. Great option, and will be for years to come. So he's going to get paid a lot of money. Jameson Williams. I like Jameson Williams. I do. He's a great deep threat for sure. It's just the way he's used sometimes. He isn't used like a number one option, because Amon-Ra St. Brown is the clear number one option. He should be used a lot more. He should be used on more deep throw balls. He can be used as a gadget player for sure. He has a couple of good games. Then last year he had a couple of really bad games where he's just nowhere to be found. I think he's definitely maybe a top 20, but more likely a 20 to 25 range for me. He's going to be a great option in the West. He's just kind of streaky for me. Maybe this year he finally breaks out and becomes that top 15 option. I think he does have the potential to do so. It's a matter of if it happens or not, because Amon-Ra St. Brown is clearly Goff's favorite target. We're going to talk about Keenan Allen quick. He's going to be right around here. Injury risk for sure. He's getting older. And like DJ Moore, like Rome Odunze, he'll be take him as far as Caleb Williams takes him. If Caleb Williams struggles, all 3 wide receivers are going to struggle. This might be one of Keenan Allen's last years of really big relevance before he really starts to fall off. He had a great year, but injuries as well. It's just a matter of, can he be that secret weapon for the Bears? Could he be that great second option to DJ Moore to really take them over the top and get them back to the playoffs? But it all remains to be seen. Well, I'm going to hop around a little bit here. Rashee Rice. I think he's going to be suspended for most of the year, but we'll put him right down here. I wouldn't pick him before in the top 25, but as a low end 25 to number 30 wide receiver, he's a great option to stash and let him blow up when he comes back from his suspension that I'm sure he's going to get. I don't think he's done in this league, but if he keeps screwing up, it definitely will. But I don't think he comes back before week 9, week 10. He's going to miss most of the year, or at least half the year, I would think. But when he comes back, he should be a great option for Mahomes once again, as he was all last year. Let's talk about the Houston wide receivers quick. Nico Collins. Right around here. He was a great option for most of the year, especially towards the end of the year when Tank Dell went down. He was the number one option, going over 150 yards most games. We'll talk about Tank Dell a little bit too. Tank Dell, right around this range. I think they're both number 2 wide receivers. I don't think either of them is a number 1. Nico Collins is on the verge of doing so. He just got paid, so this year could be that year where he jumps up to this top tier. I don't know if he's there yet, but if CJ Stroud goes off like people think he's going to be, Nico Collins could be a top 10 wide receiver now for sure. Tank Dell, probably top 15 tops. And maybe, just maybe, if maybe Nico Collins go down, Tank Dell could see that kind of target share that we expect him to. But I think Nico Collins is going to be the large receiving share for the Texans. He's going to be the number 1 option. Tank Dell, comfortable second option, second, third wide receiver. Nico Collins, or second, maybe borderline first wide receiver potential. I don't know how confident I feel. I don't know if last year was a fluke or not, but we'll see this year if last year was a fluke or not. Let's talk about Dolphins. Tyreek Hill, still right up there. Still has all the speed in the world. Still can run any route. Still gets open like the best of us. Again, he started off so hot, then kind of cooled down. The winter months showed up. Jalen Waddle, kind of an injury risk, but I would feel comfortable in putting him right here in the top 15 for sure. I'm not one of those that say Jalen Waddle sucks. I think he's a good wide receiver. Just hasn't been on the field at times and has had some nagging injuries from time to time. But when he's out there, when he's good to go, he's getting all the targets, or he's getting a lot of the targets. He's getting open. He has great hands, and he can do it all out there, just like Tyreek Hill. The Miami Dolphins definitely have one of the best wide receiving corps in the league. And Jalen Waddle, number 2. Tyreek Hill, if he's your number 1 wide receiver option, feel comfortable drafting him for sure. And I think both these options are great. If you could get either of them, you should be very comfortable or confident with your wide receiving core going into the fantasy season. Keon Coleman, big, tall wide receiver. I'm going to put him right here just because I've heard some reports and seen him in games where he sometimes can't always get the best separation. He has a big body but can't always catch everything. Kind of slow, so that definitely tanks some of his potential, but he's going to be a big body option for Josh Allen, and if he can get open, Josh Allen's going to find him. Josh Allen's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and if you watch my video from last time, I put him at number 2, I believe. Number 2 quarterback option, best in the option in the league. Keon Coleman's going to get open. And if he can get down the field, Josh Allen is going to throw it to him with the best of them. I think he has top 15 potential if everything goes well, but more likely he's going to be between the 15 and 20 range. He's still a rookie, so he has all the untapped potential in the world. I like that the Bills went after him. Brett Wills probably could have went after somebody else. I think the Bills were looking for Brian Thomas, but they were drafted right before him, and that's why they traded down. But should be still a great option, just probably second, third option. Back to the Redskins, Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry. He's always so consistent. He's going to be top 15 again. Yeah, right in that top 15. Still going to be a great option regardless. I never get the chance to draft Terry McLaurin. Someone's always kept him, or he always gets grabbed up right before I get a chance. If I had a chance to draft Terry McLaurin, he'll be the number 1 option for Jaden McDaniels. Yeah, Jaden Daniels. Sorry, gonna be a great option. Feel comfortable drafting him mid rounds or top 15 wide receiving option. Probably over 1,000 yards again. He's been that consistent. touchdown wise, 7 to 10. I think is reasonable. I don't want to over hype Jaden Daniels because I think he may have a little seasoning to go, but I just don't know how good the Commies are going to be this year. I think they could be a sneaky 6-7 win team if everything goes well. But I think again they're building this team for the future. So as long as they improve from last year, I think the Commies will consider that a win. But you can feel confident in drafting Terry once again. Lad McConkey, again, rookie. I don't know a lot about him. I've heard he's a great option just in terms of the Chargers. I think Jim Harbaugh is going to build that team through defense and running. I think it'll take a little bit for Justin Herbert to meld with his new wide receiving core. I know he's a great option, or Herbert is going to be a top 10 option out there. I don't think the Chargers are going to be that good this year. Probably 5-6 wins tops. I know people are seeing them as a sneaky pick to be second in the AFC West. I'm not one of those people. I think it'll take a little bit of time for them to work up to where they want to be. Stephon Diggs. He's an enigma for me because he had some good games in Buffalo last year. It's just a matter of, can he stop being an idiot? Like, God, he's so frustrating. As I was rooting for the Bills last year, I mean, it's like, if you're looking, he was the best receiving option for the Bills, but he was also a big issue for them too. I think you can feel confident putting him right above here, but I would take Jalen Waddle before him. No, not that high. I'll put him right here. Because I like Nico Collins better. I think he'll end up having better chemistry with CJ Stroud, who already has. I think Stephon Diggs could be one of the sneaky picks to blow up in the Texans space. I really do. I think he'll still be a good option, but he needs to stop being an idiot. He's playing for his next contract this year. I think if all things go well, maybe the Texans could pick him. But if Stroud continues to pay out, Texans are going to need to save up to pay him, and Stephon Diggs could be a cap casualty and end up somewhere else, which I think is the most likely option. But I think he's going to be easily a top 20 option. I'm just not very high on him. I think last year's shenanigans showed that he may be not slowing down, but I don't know. There may be better options. Malik Neighbors, again, good option. Again, I don't think he's going to... We'll put him up right here. I think he's going to be one of the best wide receiving options in the league as a rookie. It's just, who knows what Danny Dimes is going to do. I didn't have Danny Dimes on my list last year, so we'll see what happens. But he has potential for sure. It just might take a little bit to realize it because they'll need a new quarterback. Marvin Harrison Jr. going to be the number one rookie option this year. Kyler is going to be throwing deep balls to him all year, and he's going to be catching them and scoring a lot of touchdowns. Probably go over 1,000. Touchdown-wise, 10 to 12. I think he has a great shot at Offensive Rookie of the Year, more so than Caleb Williams, but I think he's probably going to go high in drafts. I don't know how high. Probably top 20 wide receiver range. Mainly the rookie option for me in this list is a holding spot just because we don't know what they're going to be yet. So it's unfair to really put them in mid because they haven't played yet. It's not fair to put them in great either because they also haven't played. So this is just a holding spot, but feel confident drafting him probably as a second option. Wouldn't be my first option for sure, but maybe further down the line he'll get there. And our consensus number one receiving pick this year, Justin Jefferson. Even though he got injured last year, he's going to rebound decently. Even though Sam Darnold will probably be the quarterback for most of the year, I like him to be number one again. Over 1,000 yards, probably 1,300 to 1,400 yards total, over 10 touchdowns. He's going to be a big option again for the Vikings. Now, if he can stay healthy full year, he just got paid, and he's going to be thrown to a lot. It all depends on the quarterback play again. Well, actually, I think he's resistant to quarterback play. I think he's going to get his yards regardless. Xavier Worthy. He, again, great wide receiving option. Yeah, give one of the fastest wide receiver to the best quarterback in the league. Yeah, that's great. I think it'll take him a little bit to work into the system, but does he have the hands? I think he does. I think he should be able to get open and speed down the field and get a lot of touchdowns. 7 to 10 is a decent option. Again, we'll see what happens when Rashee Rice comes back from his suspension, but he should be a good option. I'm not going to draft him right away, but mid-tier rounds, if he's still there, could be a good sneaky pick. Mike Williams, again, like Garrett Wilson, I think he goes as far as the quarterback play takes him. Jordan Addison should be right around here. Another great option. Deep threat will be getting open. A good second option to Justin Jefferson for the Vikings. He had a lot of success for me. Probably close to 1,000 yards. 5 to 7 touchdowns is a good bet. Again, quarterback play dependent. Quarterback play dependent for him. Justin Jefferson more resistant to the quarterback play. Michael Pittman, a great secondary option. Probably the number one option for the Colts. I really like him again. I didn't get a chance to draft him last year, and then he had one of his best seasons. Had a good contract extension now. So again, he got paid, and Anthony Richardson should look for him as the number one target. Now we have Mike Evans. Again, look for him to go over 1,000 yards once again. I think I feel more comfortable picking him over Keenan Allen just because he has really no injury risk history. He's going to go over 1,000 again. He's going to have close to 10 touchdowns again. Bakers loves throwing to Mike Evans, and Mike Evans loves running down the field and being a total a-hole. But he's just been one of the most consistent options out there. Feel confident taking him as a second option. Maybe not so much as a number one option, but number two option for sure. Zay Flowers. I think he could be in for a better year, more consistent year. He had good games last year for sure, but I think it wasn't the most consistent play out there. Should be great though. Puka Nacua. Now he's another enigma. We'll put him right below Nico. He's a great option, great second option for the Rams. Going to be a nice option for Matthew Stafford for years to come, and whoever comes in after Stafford, because Stafford obviously isn't going to be there forever. He had a great rookie year. He definitely helped with Cooper Kupp not being out there at times, but even when Cooper Kupp came back, he was still great. So, yeah, I think he's definitely 1,000 yard wide receiver for sure. Once again, Marquise Brown probably going to be the number one option for Patrick Mahomes. We'll put him right around here. I think Marquise Brown is probably going to have the best career of his year that he's ever had. Good option nonetheless. And last but not least, Jaden Reed. He's going to get his fair share of targets. Can be used to in a running situation, end around situation. He can really get out there. Sneaky pick to be the Packers' great deep threat this year. Probably second fiddle to Christian Watson, but has a great potential to become the number one wide receiver for the Packers for a long time. And that's the list. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. If there's any quarterbacks that or wide receivers that I really miss, let me know, and I will sort them out where they should go. But overall, I think it's a really good receiving class once again for the incoming rookies. And if you want to use this as your draft rankings, go ahead. I think I did a pretty good job at ranking where everybody should be. But let me know what you think down below. Have a great day. And as always, go Pack Go, and God bless.